I was getting flowers ready for my first date with a girl from Hinge when my brother grabbed my phone to look at the girl's profile. He immediately started laughing at me. "You're going on a date with her? She's way too fine for your chopped You're going to need my help. I'm coming with you." I was extremely annoyed because my brother couldn't stand when I had something nice, and he always tried to ruin it for me. "Chill, bro. I'm okay. I don't need your help." He was already putting his jacket on. "You're bad with women. I'm going to help you. I'm not taking no for an answer." I was irritated because I knew he was going to ruin this for me. When we got to the restaurant, she was already sitting at the table. She was even prettier in person, and I immediately started sweating. But before I could introduce myself or give her the flowers, my brother sat down next to her and reached out his hand. She looked confused. "Who are you?" My brother laughed. "I'm his dating coach. He's never been on a date before, so I'm here to make sure he doesn't embarrass himself in front of a beautiful girl like you." I sighed and thought that the whole situation was screwed, but I figured it was still worth a shot at trying to win her over, just in case she was my future wife. So I sat down across from them and pulled out a piece of paper from my jacket. It was a drawing I made of her dog from her dating profile, because girls like when you notice them for more than just their looks. I slid it across the table. "I saw your dog on your profile. I thought you'd like this." My brother snatched it out of her hands, looked at it, and burst out laughing. "You brought a drawing of her dog to a first date? You're cooked. This is exactly why you need me." He crumpled it up and tossed it on the floor. I figured the whole situation was going to shit, so I put in an AirPod to play music and distract myself from how angry I was at my brother. He grabbed her hand and said, "We should ask the Chuz to leave, right? He clearly isn't meant to be here." Suddenly, she pulled her hand away from my brother. My eyes widened with shock, and I took out my AirPod. Even my brother looked shocked. She went under the table and picked up the crumpled drawing. She smoothed it out slowly, then looked at me. "You actually read my profile. My dog died last week, and this was the sweetest thing anyone's ever done for me." I smiled like a lunatic. She turned to my brother. "Do you even know my dog's name?" He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. "Did you even read my profile, or did you just look at my pictures?" He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Well, you're beautiful." She stood up and sighed like she was sick of him. "Yes, I get it. You think I'm attractive, but I think it's clear that you're the one who isn't meant to be here." She grabbed my hand, took the flowers, and shooed him away like a fly. I couldn't contain my joy, and I dabbed on him. She dabbed too, and that's when I knew we were meant to be. A 3-year-old boy I'd never seen before looked up at me and yelled, "Hi, Mommy." He was sitting right next to my kids on the side of the track, waving at me with them. I was the only one running laps that morning, and this boy was doing it louder than any of my kids. I smiled and waved back. His whole face lit up. On my next pass, I heard him tell one of my kids, "Your mom is really fast." When my kids got bored and ran away, the boy sat right on the line so he'd be as close to me as possible when I came around. After about 20 minutes, a man walked over and took his hand. The boy looked back at me with tears in his eyes and waved. When I came down to get my kids, the man found me. He told me the boy was with a group of foster kids on a field trip. He'd lost his mom last year. He saw my kids waving at me and wanted to join in. You waving back at him meant more than you know. For 20 minutes, that little boy got to pretend he had a mom again. I told my kids my eyes were just watering from the run. I was working at a marine park and had just thrown a fish to my sea lion during the show when I spotted the 3 girls who bullied me at school sitting in the front row. They always made fun of me for working at my mom's fish shop and said I smelled like the fish. And now that they'd found me, they immediately pointed at me and laughed. "Oh my gosh, mermaid girl, I didn't know you were working here." The leader of their group, Kelsey, had her phone pointed at me and started recording. The crowd around her started turning to look. Her 2 friends scooted forward against the splash zone railing. "This is so funny, I'm gonna pee myself." I tried my best to ignore them and focus on the performance. I faced my sea lion Bubba, and he did a flip in the air, and I threw a fish in his mouth. The crowd gave a round of applause. "Hey Bubba!" Kelsey leaned her whole body over the rail, holding her phone out, and started mocking me. "Is the mermaid girl your girlfriend? Because you're the only one who'd date her." Her friends doubled over laughing. Kelsey knelt on top of the safety rail to get a better angle to film me. If someone fell in this tank right now, that dumb sea lion would just watch them drown. He's too dumb to know the difference. She turned to wink at her friends, and just as she did, she started losing her balance. She stuck both her hands in the air and flailed them around, but it wasn't enough to save her. Splash! She fell over backwards into the tank. She came up screaming, "I can't swim!" She slapped the water. Her orange iPhone floated to the top of the water. She tried to escape by clawing at the smooth glass side of the tank, but it didn't work. Through the glass, I could see her arms thrashing, slower each time. I was the only lifeguard on duty. Her friends screamed, "Do something! Save her!" For a second, I paused and wondered if I should just let her drown, but I didn't. Instead, I whistled. Bubba launched off the platform. One push, and he shot down to her underwater. He clamped her hoodie in his teeth and pushed her up with his nose. He shoved her toward me at the edge of the tank. I grabbed her under the armpits and hauled her up onto the deck. The crowd went silent. I picked the towel off the rail and dropped it on her chest. Guess he wasn't too dumb after all. Bubba hauled himself onto the deck beside me and shook off. Water sprayed across Kelsey and the dry towel I just dropped on her. I tossed him his fish. Good boy.